Yo, what's up? This is just gonna be like a little tutorial video for the quote unquote simple tapping line that I posted like a day or two ago on my Instagram. Um, the joke being that like it's not simple, it's actually quite difficult. Um, but I mean, harmonically it's pretty simple, but mechanically and technically it's quite tough. So if you don't know what riff I'm talking about this riff. So I think it's like pretty cool. But I posted tabs for this in my story. If you're watching this like the day that I post it, you can probably still find them. But if you're watching this like after the fact and you want the tabs, just let me know in like a DM or comment, and I'll send them to you. It's cool. But I just think it would be easier to follow along to this if you were looking at the tabs. Because I've had a couple people DM me and say like, it's pretty hard. It'd be helpful if I did a tutorial, so I'm hoping this helps out a little bit. But yeah, so basically we're in open D, which is D, A, D, F sharp, A, D. And a big component of this is this technique that I do a lot, which is like, these kind of like rolled tapping arpeggio things. I don't like to call it this, but for the sake of the abbreviation, I call them rolling or rolled arpeggio tapping. It's the rat technique. There's not really any like appealing way to say it. It's the rolling arpeggios that you tap. It's just the rolling motion is the main thing. They're just rolls, tapping rolls. Sometimes I do it with the left hand too. Stuff like that, but in this, I'm just doing two fingers. The left hand is only doing like root and third. So, and for these first couple of bars, there is a kind of tricky pinky action for these first couple of bars. And someone did recently ask me if I had any pinky exercises to like build strength with your pinky. This could be a good one. Because I've definitely felt my pinky working a little harder than usual in this. But yeah, so if you're looking at the tabs, right away we start off with septuplets. And I've had this conversation a couple of times about like odd numbered tuplets, like high numbers, like septuplets, quintuplets, whatever the word is for 9 tuplets. And I think 5 quintuplets is kind of where that's like that's the highest number before I stop consciously thinking about it. Like with quintuplets, I might actually consciously be like, okay, I'm gonna play 5 notes here and then do like, like I might actually consciously think about that. But septuplets, I don't think I've ever been like, oh yeah, I'm gonna play 7 notes now in the space of, I don't make that choice. And like in this situation, I was pretty surprised actually when I realized that it was septuplets, because I don't usually do that, but I just happened to play 7 notes here. So it all starts on the 9th fret and then onto the 8th fret. That's what I call loading the roll. Instead of doing like a full roll between both hands, now the left hand is just loading the roll, if it makes sense to say that. Like, something about that feels like it's loading to me, like loading a crossbow, like you're, you know, it just work with me. So that's what we're doing throughout this whole thing. Instead of full rolls, we're loading all the rolls. So this group of 7 at the beginning, don't worry too much about playing them all like evenly spaced. As long as you fit all 7 of these notes in the span of 1 quarter note, you're good. Like, I don't think you should worry too much about making them all evenly. They're all septuplets perfectly. That's not what this like sort of thing is about. So with these rolls, I kind of find that just like naturally I want to pull off to an open string after it. And it's not even like it's like another thing I don't really think about too much, because my hand is kind of already going away from the neck. If you kind of just let it go through that motion, you know, you almost have to try not to make it pull off, you know. So I usually just incorporate that into all these rolls because it helps with like moving around to new positions. You know, if you pull off to that open string, you can just have that like split second to rearrange your hands. So, you know, and then at the very end, the final 7th note is just this cheeky little hammer-on to the 12th fret of the B string. It's tuned to an A, but I'm going to call it a B string. So that's like the toughest thing that the left hand is going to do the whole time. You know, your pinky is going to be doing a little bit of work in this one. But that's your whole group of 7. You know, so kind of just get that down. And then the second beat of the bar is kind of like, depending on your playing, it could be the hardest part. For me, it's like pretty tough because we're doing a tapped bend, and I've got like a little tip for bending tapped notes that I feel like maybe people just like do this subconsciously, but if you're not doing this, you should consider doing it. Basically, you're holding down all these notes with your left hand. Ideally, you want like those 2 notes to ring out as far as they can in the bar. But since your pinky's down, when you bend that note, it's not like, it's kind of a combined effort between both hands. You know, I wouldn't say the pinky in this hand or the middle finger in this hand are like putting in any more effort than the other. They're just kind of working in tandem. And you can get like a lot of control, you know, like if you're just tapping with your, it's a little tougher than if you're using, you know, like I'm not gonna bend so high, but use both of your hands to do the bend, because it's just gonna be a lot easier for you. So yeah, you've got that, and then you're just pulling off to that 12th fret and then pulling off to an open fret, going back to the 12th fret. It's honestly kind of just like filler. Like, you could also very well just let that note ring out, but instead you know, I've got to fill up the space with octaves, and it's just the same harmonic content. And then, you know, all, like, I guess it's not it's not filler, because you're doing that so you give your right hand time to move up. You know, you're moving up now to the 19th fret to do a roll up there. And you're not like loading the roll or anything. You're not doing anything more with the left hand. There's one thing with the left hand that I almost didn't even include it in the tab because it's kind of pointless, but I realized that I was doing it without thinking about it, so I wanted to include it, but I'll get to that in a second. Because basically this, there's no like septuplets or anything, it's just like 32nd notes into 16th notes. So you're doing the pull-off thing that I mentioned earlier that you kind of naturally want to do. And then even though, you know, these two notes, you end up with your ring finger and middle finger after the roll, I'm gonna swap those two fingers out for these two fingers, because these are like the heavy hitters on your right hand, you know. So there's like a little bit of a switch up move there where you go. Dude, you're killing me with this vacuum. This is like the 10th time I've tried to make this video, and they're they're vacuuming now. So it's really funny that this is not working out, but I'm 12 minutes in, so I'm gonna keep going. But that's hilarious. Yeah, you're gonna do a little switch up with your fingers there, just to make it easier on yourself. And the thing I was talking about earlier that I almost didn't include because it's just kind of dumb and pointless, when I tap, when I do the switch up, I also hit the 12th fret with my pinky again. And the reason that I think it's kind of dumb and pointless is because it's just like an octave below the highest note that I'm tapping. And then I slide to a unison note with it, so it's not like adding anything harmonically. But I noticed that my pinky was just like doing that, and when I tried not to do it, it was messing me up. So, you know, if that ends up tripping you up, just don't play it. Just don't play it, dude. It's cool. I'm not gonna be upset if you don't play that note. And then you know, you pull off to an open thing. That slide, double stop slides can be like a little tough. Oh, that was pretty rough. And this is like an interesting one too, because you're going from 2 strings on the same fret, and then sliding one finger has to slide 1 fret more than the other to 15 and 16. Oops, 19, like you're both 19th frets, and then you slide down to 15 and 16. So that's kind of just a movement you have to get comfortable with. By just practicing a lot. You gotta do a lot of practice. But yeah, so that's like the first bar. And then the second bar is the exact same thing, but there's basically just like a 2/4 bar tacked on to the end. I wrote it as just a big bar of 6/4. I might prefer to think of it as 4/4 and then a separate 2/4 bar, but it kind of depends on how I feel. Basically, it's the exact same thing, but yeah, sorry. It's just this little descending arpeggio thing. You know, this is like just the math rock equivalent of like a big sweeping passage. But you know, this is a thing where like the notation looks pretty disgusting. Like the single 16th note and then 3 triplet 16th notes. Like, it's not like a grouping that I would prefer, but that's just kind of like how I was playing it. And this is all just your pinky. This was almost just like an unconscious thing I was doing where my pinky just, like, I guess just to keep time, it kept just naturally being like, I'm gonna come down now. And I was like, yeah, okay. That's cool with me. You know, and like those are just sixths that I do a lot of stuff with sixths like that. But you know, it's that open string at the end too. It's another thing where a lot of open strings, it's kind of just me like maybe not ergonomically. It's like economy finger picking, where just since my hand is moving, I'm like, okay, I'll flick the string now. You know, like my hand is already moving after doing these tapping things. So I just kind of bring my ring finger down while I'm moving my hand to hit that string. You know, just kind of throw it away. It works out really well. And it gives you time to shift down to the new position. So the next couple of bars are actually the exact same thing. It's the same bar repeated twice. We're now at the 5th fret, and we're loading a roll on the 12th fret. And there's no septuplets or anything. It's just like 32nd notes and 16th notes and some triplets. Everything gets like way simpler here notation wise. But yeah, you know, so you're rolling you're kind of doing like, because I think of these as like triplets, but they're not literally triplets, but I'm thinking of groups of 3. You know, so like, and it's just preceded by that roll, the loading of the roll. And again, you know, trying to keep the bass note ringing as long as you can. And this, it's like, to me, it's like thoughtless. It's kind of just like filler. Again, it's like kind of filler notes. And, you know, it's pretty simple. Like, the left hand, you're just hammering down with that finger. And the right hand, it's like, you know, one finger per string. And the final note, like you could if you're crazy, if you're good, you could just do it like straight triplets till the end of the bar. But you'll notice that the last grouping is just 2 straight 16th notes, and it's just pulling off to an open string, because that's kind of just how I play it. It's easier on me to do it like that. But like, you know, if you want to show off, you could try and do like you know, play them straight triplets through the whole thing. I don't care. I don't care. And then the bar after that is like literally the same thing. It's except the 5th fret moves up to the 7th fret. Literally the exact same thing. And the final bar is almost the same thing, but there's like a little, almost like a key change. I kind of switched to like a minor, more of a minor thing with 8th fret. And that's like a pretty interesting, that's a pretty interesting sound. And then there is this one cheeky little 4 to 3 note thing, which you don't see like a lot of. It's kind of like the inverse of triplets, because like triplets is 3 notes in like the space of 2. I was gonna say 3 notes in the space of 4, but like kind of, if you think about it in like a different way. But this is 4 notes in the space of 3, so we're just shoving 4 16th notes in the same time that would usually occupy 3 16th notes. I don't know if that's even like a useful way to think about it. This is kind of more just like a feeling thing where sometimes I'll play 4 notes, but I'll very consciously be like, well, those weren't straight like 16th notes or straight quarter notes, and they're usually like these 4 to 3. It's basically all just dotted notes. It's just a more appealing way to notate dotted notes when they're in like an even spacing like that, you know? And again, it's just like the left hand kind of wanting things to do. Like you could totally play that without that 4th note. Just do like a well, you know, like you don't have to play it exactly the way I wrote it, but yeah, you know, it's just. It's pretty much the same idea. I feel like most people would have trouble with the first couple of bars because I did the thing that I like to do where I just make the beginning of the thing way harder than the rest of it. So I don't know. I hope I said something useful about the tough parts. I hope this helps someone, because I tried really hard to do this tonight. A lot of things were getting in the way, a lot of interruptions, a lot of frustrations, but I said I would do it and I wanted to do it, so. I was gonna try and play it like a bunch of times and see how long I could go, but I couldn't even do 2. But it's cool. I would love to see someone. I'd love to see someone play this. I want people to play with the stuff that I play. I just want. I want like a world where we all walk around with guitars and just have conversations in the form of like, you know. I think it'd be cool. But yeah, whatever, dude. I think I've said all I could say. Let me know if you want the tabs or if you want clarification on anything. This kind of went off the rails towards the end, but like I said, I think the first 2 bars is what people have trouble with, so there you go. I hope that helps. I hope that the loading the rat thing wasn't like totally. I hope that made sense somewhat, because I'm probably gonna say that more. I'm probably gonna talk about loading the rat quite a bit more, because it is a concept. I might figure out a better way to say it, but yeah, I'm gonna turn this off now. Jesus Christ. Happy riffing, dude. Good luck.